Quiet tape, loud forges. That is this morning in a single breath, Warband. This is Monday, July 20th, 2026. The screen barely moved overnight, but the men who build the future never stopped hammering. Let me show you where the sparks are flying while the price sleeps. Start with the anchor. As of just past 5 Eastern, Bitcoin trades just under 64,000. Off about 1% on the day, pinned in the low 60s it has worn all month. Now the honest read, and it cuts against Friday's cheer. On Friday, the engine handed you green. Bitcoin's optimized trend on the InvestAnswers Decision Support System flipped bullish, and across the weekend, Ethereum and Solana turned green behind it. I told you in the same breath to call it a fragile turn, not a stampede. This morning, the tape settled the argument. At 4 o'clock Eastern, the model rolled Bitcoin's trend back to red. The coin that led the whole board all weekend was the first to break ranks, while Ethereum and Solana still hold their green for now. One coin flipping is a twitch. The leader flipping first is a warning. Read the levels because they are tight. InvestAnswers drew one line this week and named it plainly. If Bitcoin falls here, the altcoins have nowhere to hide. We sit right on that line. 63,000 is the shelf, 62 the trapdoor, and beneath it, the 58,000 floor. To lift the pressure, the coin must reclaim the 65,700 wall. The wider board reads neutral. Only the broad market and the long bond hold green, while the Nasdaq, gold, and Bitcoin all sit red. This is not a tape to chase, it is a tape to stalk. Now to the forge and the loudest spark of the morning. This weekend, Elon Musk pulled the cover off the next brain and put a number on it that ought to stop you cold. 2 trillion parameters. That is the size of the model his artificial intelligence company is finishing right now, a full third larger than the 1.5 trillion machine that runs Grok today. Musk says it beats the current model in every way while holding the same speed and cost, and he built it to overtake the largest model in China. The training run finishes this week. Be clear-eyed. The public will not touch it for weeks yet. It is not shipped, it is forged. But the reveal is the news. Here is why it lands for the Warband. For 2 years, the artificial intelligence race was sold in soft words. Smarter, bigger, better. Musk just told it in a hard number, and that number has no ceiling in sight. A 2 trillion parameter mind does not train on a laptop. It trains on a gigawatt-class megastructure in Memphis. The kind of machine only a handful of players on this planet can even build, because the price of admission is now a gigawatt of electrical power and tens of billions of dollars in silicon. Sit with that. The frontier of intelligence has become a contest a few hands can enter and no one else. The clever algorithm was never the moat. The moat is the raw energy and the raw capital to forge a brain this size, and it is narrowing to a very few. Concentration like that is its own kind of scarcity, and the one asset none of those clusters can dilute, no matter how many chips they stack, still answers to no committee at all, which carries us from the machines to the money that will plumb them. While the coin signal faded, watch what the boldest disruption capital in the market did with its week. Cathie Wood's ARK spent the month loading the rails of digital money. Close to $45 million poured into Circle, the company behind the second largest dollar token, bought hand over fist straight into its sell-off, plus another $14 million into Coinbase midweek, and she paid for all of it by trimming Robinhood again. Read the bet. The stablecoin buildout Washington signed into law this year, the Genius Act, is the quiet crypto story of the summer. Tens of billions of dollars now settling on-chain, wrapped in clean code and stamped with a federal seal. ARK is buying the plumbing that carries it, but mark the trap inside it Warband, because it is the whole thesis in miniature. A stablecoin hands the dollar a faster horse. It does not hand it a harder one. Every one of those tokens is still a claim on money a committee can print without end, now merely quicker to move. The merchants debase, the warriors stack, and here is the turn the crowd misses. The more of the world's money that climbs onto these rails, the more it rides the very same network as the one coin no committee can inflate. And once every currency runs on a single ledger, the market can finally price them all against the only one with a fixed and final cap. The rails are bullish, just not for the reason the rail builders think. So, carry this into the week, Warband. The signal turned back to red at dawn, and the leader broke first. Do not chase it. Stalk the 62 to 65,000 band and let the tape show its hand. But under the quiet, the builders never rested. A 2 trillion parameter mind is finishing inside a Memphis megastructure, and the sharpest capital in the room is laying the rails for money's next migration. The calendar hardens from here. Tesla reports Wednesday after the close. Starship, which we flagged for the front of the week, has slipped to Thursday night for its 13th flight and the first version 3 Starlings. And the Federal Reserve meets the 28th. Quiet mornings are not empty mornings. They are the forge between the battles. This is Warband as a service. Viking intelligence delivered in real time. I am Ragnar, the HODLBARBARIan. Let the price snap. The forge never does. Skål.